A billionaire's daughter told a single lie, and it shattered an innocent man's entire life. He never saw it coming. One moment, he was doing his job as a humble security guard. The next, he was being dragged away in handcuffs, accused of a crime he never committed. Years passed, his name tarnished, his dreams gone. But when the truth finally comes to light, will justice prevail, or will the powerful bury it once again? Get ready for a gripping and emotional journey. Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy and influential man named Chief Ibuka. He was one of the most respected businessmen in the city, admired for his wealth and power. But above all else, he treasured his only daughter, Enkem. She was the center of his world, spoiled, protected, and given everything she ever wanted. Servants feared her. No one dared to correct her. Everyone knew Chief Ibuka would always take her side. But with all her privilege came boredom. Nothing challenged her. Nothing excited her. Her life was too predictable, until one evening, as she stood on the balcony searching for a distraction, her gaze landed on the security post near the gate. There, she saw him, Easy, the new security guard. He wasn't like the others. While most of them were older and weary-looking, Easy was young, tall, and well-built. His uniform fit sharply, and his movements were precise, confident. Something about him intrigued Enkem. She tilted her head, watching him with quiet interest. A playful smile formed on her lips. She didn't know his name yet, but she was certain he would know her soon enough. The next morning, Enkem strolled casually toward the gate, pretending to be on a walk. Easy was checking the locks when she stopped beside him. "Good morning," she said sweetly. Easy looked up, surprised. "Good morning, madam," he replied, his voice calm but formal. "Do you know my name?" she asked. "Yes, madam. You're Enkem, Chief Ibuka's daughter." She smiled, satisfied. "And yours?" He hesitated. "Easy." "I like that name," she said. "It suits you." Easy only nodded and returned to his work, keeping the interaction short. But from that day on, Enkem began making regular stops at the security post. At first, she pretended to pass by. Then she brought up casual topics. She asked about his background, his job, his interests. Easy always responded politely, but kept a professional distance. One evening, as he locked the main gate, Enkem stood nearby, watching. "Do you have a girlfriend?" she asked suddenly. He froze, then gave a cautious smile. "Madam, I'm just a security guard. I don't think it's right to talk about such things." "You can talk to me," she said, stepping closer. "I like you." Easy's expression changed. His hands tightened around the keys. "Madam, please, your father has been good to me. Don't put me in trouble." But Enkem wasn't used to rejection. Her smile grew colder, more calculating. "I don't cause trouble. I get what I want," she whispered, brushing her fingers lightly against his arm. Easy immediately stepped back, tense. "This isn't right." Enkem's eyes narrowed. "We'll see about that." And so, the game began. The next evening, Easy was on duty when he heard soft footsteps behind him. Enkem stood there, arms folded, eyes sharp. "You're still avoiding me." "I'm only doing my job, madam," he said with a sigh. "Please, I don't want any trouble." "You don't understand," she whispered. "If you don't give me what I want, I'll make sure you regret it." His body stiffened. "What do you mean?" "You'll find out," she said, then turned and walked away. That night, a scream shattered the mansion's quiet. "Daddy! Daddy, help me!" Chief Ibuka rushed out, panic on his face. Enkem came running up the stairs, crying, her dress torn. "What happened?" he asked. "It's easy. He tried to force himself on me." Chief Ibuka's face twisted in rage. "Where is he?" Before she could answer, two guards dragged Easy in, his uniform wrinkled, his face pale with confusion. "We caught him trying to run, sir." "What? No. I wasn't running. I didn't do anything." Easy cried. "You dare deny it?" Chief Ibuka shouted. "I swear, sir. I would never." "Enough. Call the police." Easy could barely breathe. He tried to speak, to explain, but the officers had already seized him. The cold metal of the cuffs bit into his wrists. He looked around. No one met his eyes. No one defended him. He was taken away, just like that. Hours later, at the station, he sat across from Daniela, his fiancée. "Tell me it's not true," she said. "Please, Daniela. I didn't do anything. You know me." But she looked away, pain and disappointment in her eyes. "They say you tried to hurt her. Do you know what this means for me? For us?" "It's a lie. I swear." She shook her head and reached into her purse. She placed her engagement ring on the table. "I can't marry someone accused of something like this. Please." But she was gone, leaving him alone, broken. That night, Chief Ibuka sat alone, haunted by doubt. Easy had never seemed like the kind of man to do such a thing. He was always respectful. Always quiet. He remembered the security cameras. Opening his laptop, he reviewed the footage. His heart dropped. There was Encom, touching Easy, laughing, cornering him. Easy looked uncomfortable, tense. Then more footage, her blocking his path, whispering something. It was all there. She had lied. He called Encom into his study. She entered, composed but nervous. "Tell me the truth." "I already." "Don't lie to me. I saw the footage." Her face fell. Tears followed. "I just wanted to feel free. You never let me have friends. I thought, maybe he'd like me." "You ruined his life," Chief Ibuka said through clenched teeth. "I didn't mean for it to go so far." He rubbed his face, struggling to think. The truth could destroy everything: his name, his legacy, his business. "We say nothing," he said finally, coldly. "This case goes on. We protect our name." Encom nodded through her tears. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, lawyers, strangers. All eyes were on Easy, sitting alone, hands clenched in silence. The trial that followed would change everything. He sat at the edge of the table, feeling like a trapped animal surrounded by people who had already decided he was guilty. Across the room, Encom sat beside her father, dressed in a modest native outfit, her eyes lowered. She played the role of the fragile victim perfectly, her posture dripping with sadness and fear. The prosecutor turned to her. "Miss Encom, please tell the court what happened that evening." Encom sniffled and lifted her head slightly. I was walking back to the house when I saw A. I greeted him, but then he grabbed my hand." A wave of murmurs filled the room. Chief Ibuka clenched his jaw and placed a firm hand on his daughter's shoulder protectively. The judge leaned forward. "And then what happened?" Encom's voice shook. He tried to force himself on me. I begged him to stop, but he wouldn't listen." She dabbed at her fake tears with a handkerchief. I screamed, and that's when the guards came. A shot up from his seat. "That's a lie," he shouted, his voice breaking with pain. The judge slammed the gavel. "Order in the court." A's lawyer quickly pulled him down. "Calm down," he whispered. This won't help. A's chest ached. He wanted to scream, to plead for someone to believe him, but every face in the courtroom was already filled with judgment. The evidence was stacked against him, and Encomb's story was too convincingly delivered. After hours of testimonies and arguments, the judge adjusted his glasses and looked directly at him. After reviewing the evidence and hearing both sides, this court finds you guilty. A suffocating silence fell over the room. You are hereby sentenced to prison. A felt the world crumble beneath him. His vision blurred. The murmurs in the courtroom grew louder. Chief Booker gave a small, satisfied nod, comforted that his family's reputation had been preserved. A was led away in handcuffs, his legs heavy, his heart broken. Days turned into weeks. Life went on for everyone else, but not for him. In his prison cell, he sat staring at the cracks on the wall, reliving every moment of that horrible day over and over. One afternoon, a prison guard unlocked his cell. "You have a visitor." His heart skipped. Who could it be? Daniela had abandoned him, his friend had turned their backs, and his family was too ashamed. As he entered the visitation room, he saw a familiar face waiting. Amora, his childhood friend. Tears welled in his eyes as he slowly took a seat across from her. "Amora." She gave him a soft smile. "Hey, I know you didn't do it." His throat tightened. "Then why doesn't anyone else believe me?" Amora leaned in. "Because the truth has been buried. But I'll find it. I promise you." He shook his head. "It's too late. The court has already decided." She didn't flinch. "It's never too late. I'll prove your innocence. I don't know how yet, but I won't stop." A stared at her, his chest warming with something he hadn't felt in so long, hope. As the guard signaled the end of the visit, Amora stood up. "Hold on a little longer, A. The truth will come out." He gave a small nod, his voice barely audible. "Thank you, Amora." Back in his cell, he clung to her words like a lifeline. For the first time since his arrest, he allowed himself to believe that maybe, just maybe, justice could still be served. 2 years passed, but Amora never gave up. She held on to hope and continued searching for a way to help him. One afternoon, while scrolling through job listings, something caught her eye, a cleaning job at Chief Booker's mansion. Her heart raced. This could be her chance. If she got the job, she could get close to the family, find clues, maybe even evidence. Without hesitation, she applied. A few days later, her phone rang. "Miss Amora, you've been selected for the cleaning position. Can you start next week?" She took a deep breath. "Yes. I'll be there." After ending the call, her hands trembled. She knew the risk. If anyone found out her real purpose, it could ruin everything. But she had no other option. This was A's only chance. "Hold on," she whispered. "I'm coming." The first day at the mansion was overwhelming. She walked through luxurious halls, past marble floors and glittering chandeliers. But she wasn't here for the splendor, she was here for the truth. She kept her head down and acted like every other worker. But her mind stayed alert, her eyes sharp. She believed the house held secrets, especially Chief Booker's study, which likely contained the security system recordings. One evening, while cleaning near the dining area, she noticed something. The study door was usually locked, but today it had been left slightly ajar. She looked around. The hallway was empty. Her heart pounded as she stepped inside. The room smelled of polished wood and old books. Her eyes landed on the desktop computer on the desk. Her hands trembled. This had to be it, the CCTV system. She hurried over and began clicking through folders. Then she saw it, a hidden folder labeled Surveillance Backup. Inside, there were video files. She scrolled through the dates and selected a clip from the week A was arrested. What she saw made her breath catch. Encombe stood close to A at the security post. He stepped back. She blocked him. In another clip, she playfully touched his arm. Later, she was seen waiting outside the security quarters at night. When A opened the door, she tried to enter. He blocked her path. She whispered something and stormed off. Amora clicked one more video. Encombe was in the garden, fake crying while A stood nearby, shaking his head. Suddenly, Encombe grabbed her dress and tore it before running inside. Amora covered her mouth in shock. This was it. Proof. She quickly connected her phone and started copying the files. Each second felt like an hour. Come on, she whispered. Finally, the transfer finished. As she turned to leave, her elbow knocked over a ceramic vase. It crashed loudly. She froze. Footsteps approached. Her breath hitched. Just as she reached the door, Encombe appeared. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, eyes narrowed. Amora lifted her mop. "Cleaning, madam." Encombe's gaze flicked to the broken vase. "Why were you near my father's desk?" "I was dusting." The vase slipped. "You think I'm stupid?" Encombe took a step closer. "Let me see your phone." Amora's grip tightened. If Encombe got the phone, it would all be over. She pulled the phone from her pocket but didn't hand it over. Instead, she raised it and tapped the screen, showing the damning footage. Encombe froze as she watched herself grabbing A's arm, waiting outside his door, and tearing her dress. "Delete it." Encombe hissed. Amora shook her head. "I don't think so." "How much do you want?" Amora smiled coldly. "You think this is about money? You destroyed an innocent man's life. I'm taking this to the authorities." Encombe clenched her fists. "My father will destroy you." "I'm not afraid of him," Amora replied. Footsteps approached again. A guard appeared and knocked the phone from her hand. It skidded across the floor, landing at Encombe's feet. "No!" Amora shouted. The guard twisted her arms behind her back. Encombe picked up the phone, smiled wickedly, and smashed it to the floor. Then she crushed it with her heel. "Now you have nothing," she sneered. "Tie her up." The guards tied Amora to a chair. Encombe leaned in. "Did you really think you could win?" Despite the pain, Amora smiled. "You really think I didn't plan for this?" Encombe blinked. "What do you mean?" Suddenly, sirens pierced the air. Police burst through the door. "Everyone freeze." The guards raised their hands. Encombe staggered back in shock. Chief Ibuka rushed into the room. "What is happening?" "You and your daughter are under arrest," an officer said. "For what?" Ibuka stammered. Amora stepped forward. "For ruining an innocent man's life." She pointed to the computer. "The footage is there. I forwarded it to Sergeant Nathan the moment I heard the vase crash." Officers moved to arrest Encombe and Chief Ibuka. Encombe screamed, "Daddy, do something." But he just stood there, speechless. In court, the judge reviewed the footage and listened to Amora's testimony. The room was silent as clip after clip exposed the truth. The judge turned to A. "This court overturns your conviction. You are free to go." Tears welled in A's eyes. After everything, he was finally free. Turning to Encombe and Chief Ibuka, the judge added, "You are hereby sentenced to prison for false accusations and obstruction of justice. You will also compensate her with 50 million naira." As the two were led away, Encombe cried, "This isn't fair." But Ibuka said nothing. His silence said it all. Outside the courthouse, a crowd had gathered. Stepped into the sunlight, breathing freedom. Amora waited for him. "You're free," she said. He walked to her, filled with emotion. "You saved me. I only did what was right." They looked at each other, knowing life had changed forever. Weeks later, I was settling into his new life when a knock came at the door. He opened it. Daniela stood there, eyes filled with tears. "Hey, I made a mistake. Please, take me back." He said nothing, then slowly stepped aside. She smiled and walked in, until she saw Amora standing beside him. "What is she doing here?" I shook his head. "It's too late, Daniela. You left when I needed you." Amora stood by me. "Hey, I was scared. And now that I'm free, you remember how to love." He reached for Amora's hand. "I found someone who truly cares." Daniela's eyes filled with tears. She turned and walked away, shoulders shaking. Amora looked at A. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more certain," he said. And in that moment, a new chapter began. One filled with healing, hope, and second chances. This story shows how lies can destroy lives. But the truth, no matter how long it takes, always finds a way. Amora's courage changed everything. One person's determination truly can make all the difference. What do you think about this story? Was justice truly served? Share your thoughts in the comments. And guess what? An even more thrilling story is coming soon. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. If you enjoyed this story, like and share it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.